welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with Reverend Phil Roland. He is a grief counselor here at the Kelly Robin Cummins Funeral Home, and I met him around the time that my father passed away 3 years ago. I've been talking a little bit on my channel about grief in regards to writing and how it greatly impacted my own writing journey. And today I thought that I would talk to Phil Roland here regarding his own grief journey in regards to his writing, pick his brain, ask him a few questions. So, number one, tell us a little bit about yourself. Let the viewers know a little bit about yourself.
I'm an ordained reverend and have a degree in theology. I have also a master's degree in pastoral psychology and counseling, and have a sort of a special interest in counseling. And one of the things I discovered also early on is that I had a lot of opportunities as a pastor to comfort grieving families. So I began to do that 40 plus years ago, and have been pursuing that for the last 25 years, working here at Kelly Rob Cummins Funeral Home in Hubbard, Ohio, just as a chaplain and a grief counselor. I've run support groups and just tried to help grieving people these years.
Okay, when did you first figure out that you enjoyed writing?
That would have been when I was a small kid. I can remember as early as the 5th grade, I would write an assignment for the class, and my teacher would like what I had written better than anyone else's, and my stuff was often read before the classes. So that was kind of the earliest start on it.
Okay, in regards to writing, what do you like writing the best? Do you like writing fiction or nonfiction, poetry? What is your favorite genre of writing?
Of recent years, I enjoy, from a pastoral perspective, writing devotional ideas, the things I like encouraging people. I like writing things that are inspirational and will lift people up. And so now you might say that I've become almost like as a writer, a professional encourager. I like writing short stories about special events that help people and encourage them in their own journey of grief.
Well, that's good. You've experienced grief at a young age. How did that impact your writing, or did it impact it at all?
100% impacted. I lost my father in a plane crash in 1956. He was in a small plane, and it was a light plane, and the plane went down, and the two men burned to death. My father was one, and the other man was a publisher of a newspaper he was working for. And I was the oldest of 5 children when I discovered my 34-year-old father had died. And that was my introduction to, I call it my grief journey. I became a lifelong journey pursuer of getting healing from grief. I see it more of a process than a single event. But I did a lot of writing around that later on. I found myself writing more not so much in my 20s, but in my 30s I began to write quite a bit.
And did you find that writing helped your grieving process?
Very much so. At the same time I'm also writing things that are uplifting to other people, and what would help them would help me. So you might say that I was discovering things about grief that were mutually helpful for both of us.
Okay, so let the viewers know if you're artistic in any other area. Like, do you paint or draw or sing or play an instrument?
When I was younger, I played a trumpet for 25 years, and a baritone after that for another 5 or 6 years. Artistic in other areas. My wife and I are musicians, and she plays the piano and is a keyboardist and a piano teacher. But we I like to sing, but as I get older, I find I'm making more of a joyful noise than anything else. But that I'm trying to think about any other artistic stuff. Mostly, I guess I like to paint pictures with words. So that's one way to describe what I like to do.
When did you realize that you could take what you've learned in regards to grief and writing and begin to help others?
When did I learn that? Probably as a full-time pastor. The average pastor will produce an outline and a few illustrations and a text, and that's his sermon. I began writing sermons, and some people say, well, that interferes if you read a sermon, which I don't do on Sunday morning, or whenever I do have public speaking. I preach or teach extemporaneously with using the basic things that I've written, but I don't read from a manuscript, but I like writing them. I've written, well, probably in 40 years, I've written thousands of sermons now.
Okay, and how have you been able to use your writing in general in regards to helping other people? I know that you have like a couple books out.
Yes, the basic one is available through Amazon Kindle, books by Phil Roland, and it is They Shall Be Comforted. I also have hard copies here at the funeral home, and I also have hard copies at my home for people that I come in contact with. I never charge for the use if I want to give those out. Kindle, some of those on that Kindle programs, you can actually download that for nothing. But it's a series of short stories about grieving people that I've encountered in the past 25 years that I've worked here at the funeral home. And the grief stories of how people are almost miraculously comforted and healed are astounding. I call it my angel book, because there's a lot of them involve angel encounters, which are just awesomely interesting to people. People like to read supernatural stories from not from the sense of the world supernatural, but from a godly supernatural position.
And do you view writing as a tool in your outreach ministry? Is that like one of your major tools?
Very much so. A friend introduced me, it's probably been 10 or 12 years ago now, to however long it's been that Facebook was really getting started in this country. And I just took to it like a duck to water, and I began to write for that. And I found myself downloading, or uploading, I should say, onto Facebook a lot of my devotional stories. And I've also learned how to search the internet for pictorial illustrations for that. And I guess I have a little artistic bend for matching a story to a picture. I like doing that. It's a lot of fun. But I get a lot of people are following my work and enjoy what I'm doing there. And it's not so much to enjoy it. It's to encourage them. I have one particular Facebook page I use called Healing for the Brokenhearted. And it seems to become very, a lot of people are interested in that.
Okay, and are there any tips that you would love to share with other aspiring authors? Any tips?
The things that really helped me along the way to boost me were things like, I'm thinking about creative writing classes. Incidentally, surprisingly, public speaking classes are really helpful, not just as a pastor and a minister, but they also help you to bring your ideas, congeal them into a speaking format. You see, there's some kinds of things that you can read that are inspirational, and there's some things that you can speak and are inspirational. And the latter is what I'm attracted to. So I find, I look for illustrations, I look for stories, I look for events in my own life that have a verbal quality about them, because that seems to communicate the best when I take those stories that are very verbal and then put them into writing. They pop. People are able to grasp it very well.
Okay, that was just a little bit from my friend here. He has been able to help me and my family greatly in our own grief journey. And like he said, it's a process. It lasts for years, probably the rest of our lives while we're here on this earth, especially if the person that passed away you love very much. That love doesn't die. I will link below Brother Phil Roland's link to his Comfort for the Brokenhearted, as well as the link to the Amazon Kindle if you would like to go there and look at that book, because that book is amazing. I read it myself. It has so many stories of people encountering, angel experiences. I know in the death of my own father, so many supernatural things happened, and I began to think I was losing my mind, when in fact I wasn't. It was just a way of the body coping, as well as just a reminder that the loved one's love never dies. So I will link that below and you can check that out. Also, if you like this content, go ahead and click subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell so you know when I upload. I usually upload once a week on Wednesdays. And you can also find where you can follow me on my social media accounts, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And if you have any writerly questions, you can put them in the comments below. I would like to know if you have suffered a loss or grief, and just put yes in the comments below, and let's get a conversation started. I would like to do another segment, Coffee with Liz, so go ahead and put those in the comments below. So without further ado, I'm going to end right here, and as I say every week, just keep writing.